Yeah, thanks. So you should by now be able to see my screen, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, great. Welcome. So I think what we'll do is if we can just start with a brief introduction of myself. Um, there's my mugshot. And welcome to everybody who's joined. And really just this is a collaboration between Next Level Impact and Afro for some exciting training that we've got planned for December. What's really more of a program in terms of maximizing potential, which plays right into both of our fields. And then just to introduce Martin, who would actually be delivering the program and on site here in South Africa in December, who's currently in the UK. And just a little bit about Martin before I hand you over. I virtually met Martin in 2016 through the Chartered Management Institute, which is the CMI logo you see on the screen. And over the course of the last year and a half, either over the ether or face-to-face, I've developed 3 words that come to mind to describe my impression of him: compassionate, disciplined, and insightful. Martin began his career in management consulting, and his areas of expertise include organization and people development. He and his team have assisted a diverse variety of organizations to implement innovative learning and development initiatives, which align individual, team, and organization goals. And just aside from his day job, for the last 16 years, he has been and still is head of operations for the Dentocan Martial Arts Organization for Ireland. And he led the Irish team to victory as director and competitor in the 2010 World Council Jiu-Jitsu Games. I haven't been drinking, that's Jiu-Jitsu. World Championships in Las Vegas, Nevada. Martin has held other leadership positions as the chair, Northern Ireland Institute of Consulting, and as director at Sport Ops. And I really believe that it's this combination of leadership experience in athletics and in organizations, which shows a balance of all the components that makes for an astounding leader. And Martin's specialist areas of expertise include improving organization and business efficiency, unleashing leadership potential at all levels, and practically applying strategic planning and implementation, quality management and continuous improvement, and developing people to maximize their impact on their organization. I mean, I don't know who doesn't want that. And when I first spoke to Martin, I was pretty intimidated by his LinkedIn profile, but he's genuinely so humble and has so much business management and consultancy experience to share. He's worked throughout the world and he's recognized as one of the top business and management consultants in the UK by the Institute of Consulting. He's currently the UK Chief National Assessor for the Certified Management Consultant Award, which is what this program is leading up to through CMI. And you can see why both personally and for Afro, and it's a real honor to be working with Martin. And both Next Level Impact and Afro are pretty excited to be offering this opportunity to learn with an international expert and to grow exponentially as a leader of self and or others in a safe space. So thank you very much, Martin, for this opportunity to share learnings. And I'm going to hand over to you, and I'm also going to hand over the reins of the presentation. So you can tell us a little bit more about the programs and where you believe the most value lies in taking part.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much for such a fantastic introduction. I hardly recognized myself there, Dale, so thanks very much for that. In terms of the screen sharing, is my screen now being shared? Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Martin. I can see your screen.
Dale, it would probably be best, I think, if we just kept it on your screen. Is that possible? And then I can just ask you to move on to the next slide. Would that be possible?
Absolutely. I'll do that right now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks
Okay,
for
great.
that. Okay. So if we move to the next slide, then basically what I wanted to start by doing is just giving a bit of an explanation as to why the Next Level Leadership Program. This is one of our leading programs and has been very, very popular over the years for a number of reasons. What I've tried to do is to condense the top 5 reasons that organizations have fed back to us as to why they've embarked upon this program, why they've put their people through it, and so on. And first and foremost, the reason that organizations choose the Next Level Leadership Program is to help them to achieve their organizational objectives. What they find is that the program offers a very practical approach. It's focused upon ensuring that individuals are supported to implement change within their organizations through practical improvement projects. So you can see how, if we go down the reasons, managing change is integral to what this program is all about in a very supported and practical way. What that does then is it directly impacts upon the individual manager's ability to improve performance within their area of work and to increase competitive advantage for their organization whilst supporting business growth. So those are the key reasons why we run the program and what was behind it. So if I could maybe ask you to turn to the next slide, we'll focus a little bit here on the background to the program. And whenever you look into the statistics, some of them are pretty frightening, really, because only 1 in 5 UK managers are formally trained. In fact, the CMI, the Chartered Management Institute, refers to the vast majority of people out there as being accidental managers. They've ended up in leadership or management positions because of their, not because of their leadership or management experience, but because of their ability to do the job well, how they've progressed and advanced with their own organizations and so on. In fact, 2 out of 3 employers offer no formal training to these people who have become accidental managers. And the average manager waits approximately 10 years before they realize that they would benefit from formal leadership and management training. And that's the reason why there's so much failure to implement good leadership and management practice within organizations, and consequently a need to do better. So if I could ask you to turn to the next slide. Whenever we look at statistics that are produced by the Chartered Management Institute, we find that nearly half of UK line managers are ineffective. This was the results from a recent poll where 43% of respondents felt that their managers were either ineffective or highly ineffective, which is really staggering whenever you consider the impact that that has on organizational productivity, on the ability to achieve objectives and so on. So what I'd like to do is to move on now to give you an overview of the program. And the beauty about the program is, I feel, is that it builds from a starting point of an essentials level. So what we have is the Maximising Effectiveness program that's actually broken down into 3 component parts. That starts off with the essentials, which I'll explain in a little bit more detail soon. It then moves on to unleashing potential and then maximising effectiveness. So if I could ask you to turn to the next slide, please, Dale. Thank you. The essentials program is a 1-day masterclass supported by 15 hours worth of online guided learning through our online academy. Now, individuals who attend this masterclass cover the core essentials of leadership and management. So it covers things like culture and values, management models, and so on. In fact, what it does is it gives individuals the opportunity to reflect upon their current style, their current approach, and so on, and to improve their leadership and management capabilities. In fact, what we do in this program is we introduce them to what we've developed, what we call our Effective Manager Toolkit, which allows them to leave after 1 day on the masterclass and go to and start implementing some of the lessons learned and the good practice of the program. What we do is we don't just kind of let individuals go at that point, but we deliver a follow-up coaching call with them via Skype to ensure that they are implementing the lessons learned, that they've completed the requirements of the program. So basically on the masterclass, they get a workshop support pack that they can work through. Quite a lot of people tend to work through that on the day and complete it, but others want to take it away. They want electronic copies sent to them so that they can type them up and things like that, which is fine too. But what essentially individuals who complete the masterclass do is they develop an action plan to improve their own leadership and management capabilities. They also use the Effective Manager Toolkit to plan a practical improvement project for their organization. So what this does is it gives a real tangible benefit not only to the individual but to their organization as well. If we move on to the next slide, you'll see how this then builds into the unleashing potential aspect of the program. This aspect is delivered by way of 2 masterclasses, which builds upon the first day. There are 30 hours of guided learning through our online academy and 2 follow-up coaching calls via Skype. Again, individuals are supported to take forward that practical improvement project and in slightly more detail, rather than just a rough sketch outline, develop a slightly more detailed plan, together with specific objectives and time scales and activities for them to complete in order to improve performance within their organization. Typical content that we cover here includes things like management styles and their impact. It includes developing organizational culture and managing change. From recent participants who have gone through the program, they've looked specifically at things that relate to their own personal styles. So emotional intelligence, for example, is something that quite a lot of individuals want to focus upon through their learning journey and through the support calls and things like that as well. So if we move on then to the next stage, which is Maximising Effectiveness. This leads to the CMI Level 5 Diploma. So at each stage of the program, there is accreditation for those people who just want to participate at that stage. So the first stage is they get an award, the second stage is they get a certificate, and if they want to complete the full program, they get a diploma. So in terms of the delivery of Maximising Effectiveness, that comprises of 5 masterclasses. So it starts off with the award masterclass, moves on to the Unleashing Potential, the certificate masterclasses, and then culminates in the Maximising Effectiveness 5-day five masterclasses. So this is 5 masterclasses in total that they complete. There is up to, but not a prerequisite, up to 165 hours worth of online guided learning. So they have access to our online academy following the masterclasses, just as people in the other programs do. People at this level get 5 follow-up coaching calls, and the reason for that is that at this level, individuals are expected to take forward that practical improvement project and actually implement it within their organization so that they can demonstrate their ability to lead, manage, and deliver effectiveness. Typical content at this stage includes models and methods for managing change, delivering excellence as a leader and manager, developing not only themselves as an individual, but also taking their team to the next level and unleashing their potential, as well as maximizing communication to deliver positive results. So if we can move on then to the next stage, this slide identifies what type of practical improvement projects individuals are encouraged to focus upon. And some of you might recognize that what we use here is a balanced scorecard framework. We encourage people to look at financial measures that they could perhaps improve within their organization. So some people typically focus upon how to increase sales, how to maximize revenue generation. That might be by introducing new services, new products. It might be by potentially reducing costs within their organization through implementing more streamlined and effective systems and processes. And it might potentially be that they develop their people to do this as well. So if you think about the balanced scorecard framework as a jigsaw puzzle all fitting together, what we do is we support the individuals going through the program to better understand how they can practically apply their improvement project in order to generate bottom line business results. If we can move on to the next slide, this one shows the online learning portal that we use. It's completely supported by the Chartered Management Institute. So anybody who uses the Academy is guaranteed of latest good practice and thinking in relation to leadership and management. I know people in the past have said, well, you can get anything online now. You know, you can Google if you wanted to look at something such as change or good leadership or management practice. Well, yes, you certainly could, but what you're guaranteed in a Google search is perhaps not the level of resources that you can access through the Academy here. So the Academy has got, you know, loads of resources. It's got things like books, full ebooks, articles, journals, links to other websites. It's got checklists. It's got videos, videos from real business people who have gone through challenge and share their experiences. So basically, when somebody uses the Academy, what I suggest they do is, first and foremost, save it on their favourites bar, and then if they're looking for anything related to leadership or management or general business, that's where they should look at it. So feedback that I've received from recent users of the Academy have said that it's been great whenever they have been maybe preparing for a difficult or challenging conversation with a member of their team, or if they've been asked to implement a project within their organisation, you know, they've been able to download some of the checklists, some of the templates, and so on. One recent candidate who I supported wanted to better improve their presentation style for report writing, and found that there was an excellent resource that gave them a template for how to prepare reports, proposals, and so on, that helped them in their particular role. So if we move on then to the next slide, please, Dale. Thank you. By completing the full program, what individuals receive is not only the level 5 diploma from the CMI, but also we support them to then apply to become a chartered manager. Now, Next Level Impact is a chartered manager approvals centre. So basically, we've streamlined the process. Once individuals successfully complete the program and can demonstrate that they have added value to their organisations, we help those individuals then compile their submission, which we have streamlined into a one-page document. We then are able to accredit them on behalf of the Institute. Obviously, there are strict quality controls in place for that, and so on. But essentially, what we do is we recognise them as chartered managers. So they become part of quite an elite group within the world, because whenever we look at some of the outcome evidence of what chartered managers have actually achieved through support from Next Level Impact and other delivery partners of CMI, we tend to see that a chartered manager has the capability and has proven that they have the ability to deliver over £360,000 worth of value to their organisation. You know, they have exceeded expectations and have delivered innovative approaches, you know, through either the improvement projects or other aspects. So in terms of improving, they've really demonstrated how they improve not only themselves but their organisation as well. In terms of the statistics relating to leading, 62% of chartered managers implement sustained improvement in people management within their organisations. 73% give recognition for improved management and best practice being implemented. And as a chartered manager, it is a requirement for individuals to sign up to the CMI Code of Conduct and Practice, which means that they integrate ethics within the way that they lead, manage, and develop others. In terms of supporting, 92% of chartered managers have improved their self-awareness going through the program. They have 87% have improved their competence, and 61% report that not only have they delivered improved performance, but they have also supported their team members to increase performance at work. So I think those are some pretty impressive statistics that come directly from the CMI. If we can move on then to the next slide, please. There have been a number of frequently asked questions, and what I propose to do is just to go through these. So first and foremost, is the course aimed at individuals or specific industries? No, the course is open to individuals from all backgrounds and sectors. We have supported individuals in construction sectors and security sectors, financial sectors, hospitality, not-for-profits, manufacturing. So really the program is tailored in such a way that it can be delivered focusing upon leadership and management good practice that's applicable across all sectors and industries. In terms of the next question, what length of experience is needed to attend the course? Well, we've had business owners and managers who have run several businesses, who are very experienced in their careers, who have 20, 30 plus years management experience attending our courses. We've also had them maybe bringing along their teams as well. So they may have somebody who they feel is appropriate to develop, and they want to develop their leadership and management potential, and they want them to participate in the course to support them to do that. There's one particular client that we have in Northern Ireland that runs the largest independent chain of dental surgeries, and this individual has put their entire team, their entire management team through the process, and has taken their business from initially, whenever this individual went through the program, from one dental practice to now having in the region of I think 14 or 15 at the moment. So that hopefully answers the second question. The third one, what are the potential benefits of becoming a student member? And I take it that's a student member of the CMI, the Chartered Management Institute. Well, access to the CMI, I think, it gives a number of different benefits. So for example, as a member of the CMI, you have direct access to their online resources, exactly the same as ours, but just branded slightly differently, and they refer to those as Management Direct. So first and foremost, you have access to that. In addition to that, they send out regular briefings, periodicals, latest emergent thinking on leadership and management good practice. There are opportunities to avail of the Ask a Researcher function that the CMI have. So basically, you can ring in if there's an issue that you wanted to get more information on and some guidance towards, and so on. You can send them the request, and they will come back to you with the answer. I found them to be absolutely superb whenever I've been looking at researching emerging standards of good practice. So some of you may be aware of the recent changes to the ISO 9001 standard, and I find that as opposed to me doing all the research in relation to the changes and so on, the team were able to support me in that regard. Moving on then to number 4, what does the process entail if I want to upgrade to full member status? Well, there's a simple application form to complete once you have gone through the program, and you're recognized at the level of management and leadership experience that you have achieved. So for example, you may enter into the Institute at that stage as a full member. In fact, you might, if you have 10 or more years leadership and management experience, enter in as a fellow of the Institute. And obviously once you get your chartered status as well, you then become a chartered fellow of the CMI. Number 5, will I have to complete refresher courses after completion of the program? Certainly not. The program is a standalone program, but as a member of the Chartered Management Institute, you are encouraged to participate in CPD, continuous professional development, on an ongoing basis. And as I've mentioned earlier, there are plenty of opportunities for you to do that through Management Direct, the online learning portal, and through the various resources, periodicals, journals, guides, and so on that they email out on a regular basis. Moving on then to number 6, what information can I expect to find in the online academy after completing the program? Well, what we propose to do is, for anybody who wants to participate in the program, we'll sign them up to the online academy straight away. I've already maybe touched upon this in terms of some of the good practice guides, the videos, the articles, the ebooks, the e-learning journeys. So there's a myriad of resources that are available, and certainly if anybody does want to get trial access to the academy, myself and my team here are more than happy to set that up. Dale, it's probably best if initially they go through you and then you can pass on their contact details. Moving on to number 7, how do I access the online academy if the 3-month period has passed after completing the course? Well, naturally, as a member of the CMI, you transition them into using not our online academy, but Management Direct Academy. So throughout your entire membership of the CMI, you also have the opportunity then to avail of the online resources, which I find absolutely superb, which is why I franchised our white labeled version from the CMI. So I'll probably pause there for a second or two just to invite any further questions from anybody who's on the line. Dale, was there anything that you or your team felt we needed to explore in further detail, or any further questions that you've been asked since we last spoke?
Hi, Martin. Thanks very much. Actually, no, those seem to be most of the questions that we've encountered. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep,
Great,
I hear
thank
you
you.
clearly.
Yeah, so those seem to be most of the questions that we've encountered. I think there's the return on investment really has been probably one of the main questions, but I think you've addressed that in terms of the projects that people can run through for their organizations through the masterclasses. So I think that for me would be a huge ROI in terms of sending people from Afro, for example, actually using it almost as a forum to get insights into launching a project internally.
Well, absolutely. Certainly, what we do is we work in partnership with the sponsoring organisation and the individuals, line managers, to help ensure that the project being selected is appropriate, it's fit for purpose, it's timely for the business. And what that means is that each of the projects that are implemented do deliver that return on investment that the organisation wants to see. In fact, the individuals cannot successfully complete the programme until they have demonstrated the successful completion of their project. So, the payback, the bottom line impact is inherent into the way that the programme is delivered.
Mm. Okay, no, I think that's about it. Does anybody else have any questions? No, it seems like everything's been covered, Martin. So thank you very much. I think what I will do is just make myself available for any other questions offline, and then let you have those as and when they come along.
Oh, I think there was one final question I noticed popping up on the box here, one from Kerry that came through. I'm not able to access it, but
Okay, great. Sorry. So as a
let
contractor
me just.
and moving around at companies, she doesn't manage teams. She says that she has it, anyone can do the course, but I just wonder how I do the project requirement. So I think, so Martin, I guess Kerry's asking if she's not attached to one specific organization for any large length of time, then how would she identify a project, or what would your
That's a
guidance
brilliant.
be?
That's a brilliant. That's a brilliant question, Kerry. So thank you so much for asking that. I think you're in an ideal position as a contractor moving around different companies, because what you essentially do is you manage each on a project by project basis. So if you were to consider, your next project or your next role, and you consider that as your project, that might be a really useful way for you to approach that in a way that maximizes good practice. So you don't necessarily need to directly manage people, but I would imagine that as part of your role as a contractor, and you deliver a variety of projects, you need to work with people, you need to deliver your project in an effective manner within the organization, and so on. So I certainly don't feel that will be a barrier to you. I think it will be something that will support you when you are moving from company to company and delivering your expertise and your projects with them. Kerry says, fantastic, thanks. I just noticed the comment coming up there. Okay, thank you. I suppose just before we go, anybody else, any final questions?
So I think the main question that everyone is really wondering to themselves is, how do we sign up? So I think, Martin, any other questions that come through, I'll forward or do an intro and forward those on to you, and kind of keep a running record so we can keep our FAQs updated. And yeah, as and when people contact us, I'll just do intros if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds perfect.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your time, everybody, for joining. And thank you so much, Martin, for your time and energy into launching this amazing program. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure, and I look forward to working with you and your team.
Thanks, Martin. Bye.
Bye-bye.